You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you guys about Desert Fox Golf. I've recently partnered up with them, and they have some awesome products that you definitely want to check out. They have something called the Phone Caddy, which is the best phone holder in golf. It comes in many different colors, and they even have ones with funny sayings on it, like, I work to support my golf habit, and it takes a lot of balls to play like me. If you are like me and like to use a golf app while you're playing, then this is the thing for you, because it holds your phone in a convenient location right on the golf cart. They even have a cigar holder attachment for it. One of my favorite things is their drink aid tumblers. They have these awesome 17-ounce stainless tumblers with a screw-on lid to hold your favorite beverage while playing around a golf. They have different versions from the classic swing aid to nurse aid, hunting aid, fishing aid, and my personal favorite design, the Patriot Aid tumbler. Head over to desertfoxgolf.com and use the promo code Roughnecks for 10% off your order. But let's get into today's guest. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks podcast. This is episode something, I forget already. I've been crazy busy. I know episodes have been sporadic lately, but we are officially, hopefully, back in tune with everything. Been on vacation. Finally back from that, getting a recording in. But joining me today is none other than Jacob Alexander, who has been on. This is his second episode now, and his first episode was number 133 back in December, which we may have had to record 2 times due to my technical difficulties. And but the funny thing is, what happened was I plugged. There's 2 ports to plug it in on the back. One's for charging, and one's like for the actual PC. I now have a piece of duct tape over the charging port, so that way I never do that again. But Jacob, welcome back to the Roughnecks podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
You've been a little busy a lot lately. We'll get into all of that. But before we kind of dive in too far, if people don't know who you are, first off, go check out episode 133 first, and then come back and listen to this one. But just kind of tell the people who Jacob Alexander is.
Jacob Alexander is a kid from... Does this sound all right?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, cool. It doesn't sound perfect in here. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds good to me. I don't know. Yeah.
Jacob Alexander is a kid from Granville. I work with our team and my father at Newark Station, 325 West Main Street in Newark. We are redeveloping a now 7-acre property and now 140,000 square foot warehouse. Was originally a 10-acre property and about almost 300,000 square feet, but we sold 3 acres and we demolished a 150,000 square foot building. So,
which needed to be done.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy how much different that place looks compared to like 5 years ago.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is last week we took the fence down, so we are no longer the only building on West Main Street with a fence.
But you know, you kind of I want to go into this first because you're the reason, like with playing at Newark Station in the Yard with the sand volleyball. That's why I'm doing the sand volleyball tournament at Newark Station, which is coming up on July 15th. So when this episode comes out, it'll be a couple weeks. Probably will be able to sign up your team still. It's a 6-person co-ed team. What do you have to have? Either 2 women or 2 men. Like you have to have, co-ed essentially. But July 15th, Saturday, July 15th, sign up on roughneckspodcast.com for that. But I wanted to ask kind of, my part is I'm handling, the outside of it with the bulk of it, but you're handling like the tournament aspect. How does that work with the teams and everybody that's going to be there?
So ideally we'll have 16 teams and I'll be able to put 4 teams on each court, and then that'll just be pool play. So you'll play, if you're on court 1, you'll play the other 3 teams on court 1. And then from there, I'll be able to seed everyone into a bracket. And probably a single elimination tournament. But if you want to do double...
We'll see. We'll see what kind of team we have. Teams, it is single elimination, no doubt.
Days can get pretty long.
If we have a little bit less, we might be able to make it a double elimination or something like that.
Yeah.
But, how many tournaments have you done?
I can't even. Good guess would be like 12 big ones. And some of those are out of my hands. Some of them I'm running pretty much point on everything. So I got you.
Yeah.
I'll get it covered. No problem.
That's what I like started like when I was originally like coming up with the whole idea for it. I like started making brackets and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to do this. Like, cause I'm like, oh, this will be easy. It's just like, this. And then I do it and I'm like, but that doesn't, wait, hold on. And I was like, Jacob, how do I do this?
Yeah, I had that same moment when we first opened, but you get it figured out and then, all the processes and what needs to happen. And you don't even really have to think too hard.
Yeah, that was the thing too, is like when I was originally first setting this up, coming up with all my ideas and really sitting down and drawing it out, I was going through it and like there was times where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like I really don't know if I can, this is something that I can do. And then I asked you, I was like, hey, do you have time for a call this week or something? We got on a phone call. I asked you a bunch of questions and all of a sudden at the end I went upstairs to Sierra and I was like, this is going to be easy. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, Jacob like answered all my questions and made it so that I don't have to stress it about anything anymore.
Well, I'll preface this by, I did tell you I did not want to be responsible for signing teams up.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that as hard as I can.
I've drawn from that well too many times is my current problem. But I am gaining traction because I know the process now so much better. I'm gaining traction. Unfortunately, I have other stuff to do as well, and sometimes volleyball I get a little behind on. But it's getting easier for me, and I'm getting better at it, is how I'll put it. So, yeah, no worries. Day of event, I got you.
Yeah, that was like, I'll worry. I can get the teams. And like, my thing is if we have 6 teams, you know what? You guys are going to have one hell of a tournament. Like, you guys are going to get to play, which sometimes people like, sometimes people don't like. It kind of goes both ways. Like, that's what, because I have 2 of my buddies playing on Wednesdays this summer league. And I think at first they're like, we play 2 games. And I was like, trust me, it goes fast to the point where you're like, I want to play more. We got done and I texted both my buddies individually and I was like, hey, like, I was curious, like, how'd you guys like it? And I think both of them said the same thing. They're like, dude, I could have played for 2 more hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, you get into that rhythm and it's like, I want to keep playing.
Yeah. On like a Wednesday, I'm cool with just the 2 games. But if it's a Friday or Saturday and I've committed to playing, then I just want to play as long as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Which kind of go through for people, because summer session's going to come to an end not too long after. It's the end of July, correct?
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer.
I know, it's gone
quicker and quicker.
And then you guys have fall session, but kind of go through like what the week looks like in terms of the yard.
So volleyball wise, Monday and Wednesday are our recreational leagues. So if you've never played and you just want to get a team together, Monday and Wednesday are your days. Hopefully Tuesday. I know I said this actually on the last episode. I know I did. Hopefully Tuesday soon too. Like I said, I'm still just gaining traction. That's if I fill up all the leagues, that's what 54 teams. So or 64 teams. So that's kind of difficult. But so Monday and Wednesday rec, Thursday competitive. Also on Thursday we host trivia, which we can now do inside if it's raining. So we have trivia every week now. And then Fridays we have our pop-up forest tournament. So just show up with 4 people, co-ed. So you need one of man or woman, either one doesn't matter. $8 a player. Winner takes half the pot, and that starts at 7:00. That is subject to change to 6:30 though. So just keep your eyes peeled on our social media if you're confused about that. And then on Saturdays, if the yard is not rented out for a private event, then just open play, come play. I mean, you can play spike ball in the sand if you want, but food, drink, music, games, and Saturdays are the days that I host like the big tournaments that I was referencing.
Yeah.
So I can get people there all day, drinking and eating.
Exactly. That's what I've told people. That's what I told my 2 buddies. I was like, guys, there's a bar. Like, you guys can go drink. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah. Like, and then, well, I think a couple of them have figured out like I can't drink that much because I get to the point where I'm really bad. So
just circumstantially got the blood orange wheat, and I get why people like to drink it when they're playing volleyball. So and now people expect it. So that one I try to not touch. And then The other two, this year I switched to Three Tigers just because I could, and I like Three Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Seventh Son is because Brown Distributing sold to Superior, and so they sent me a new list, and that was an agreeable beer in my mind. So
Yeah, the blood orange, what is it called?
the Wybridge Blood Orange Wheat.
I always forget the name. I'm just like the orange blood thing.
Yeah, I describe it as a blue moon with an entire grapefruit in it.
My buddy was drinking it, and I was like, "What are you drinking?" Because I noticed he was drinking Busch Light and then switched to that. And I was like, "What are you drinking?" He's like, told me what it was, and I was like, "Oh, let me try it." And I took a drink of it, and I went back and I was like, "I want one of those." That is surprise. I've never heard of it. You know, I don't switch too much from Busch Light really. So I mean, I'll try some things here and there, but it's pretty much Busch Light all the time. And when I tried that, I was like, "That's good. I really like that."
Yeah, I get why people drink it. It's a little too much for me, but
You
people
can't
like
drink
it.
too
And
many of them.
yeah, no, you can't.
It kicks in. If you drink, I'd say after 2, you're like, "Whoa, that hit me a little different than a Busch Light did."
I will say, a couple Fridays ago, one of the regular volleyball players came to just watch the tournament. And later into the night, he came down, he sat down next to me, and he looked at me, and all he said was, "Those blood oranges." And I knew exactly what he meant.
Yes, they definitely do something to you. But the other thing too about, we talked, I won't go into it because we already talked about it on the last episode, but you guys have a shipping container that is the only permanent
By code. There's a couple others that don't move that I won't name.
don't move but should move.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have a shipping container because for the rule, like by code, the rule is you have to every 30 days?
Every 40. So
40?
Yeah.
40 days you have to move the shipping container to a new location. You guys have one that stays there, doesn't move.
So the spirit of that code is so that shipping containers don't just start showing up everywhere.
Makes sense.
In the zoning, the zoning board does not want that. And so, ours is the first and probably the last one that is by code a permanent structure.
I mean, you guys are inside a fence. Like, it's not like you guys are just in a Kroger parking lot.
Right.
You guys are actually like in your own property, set at a spot. But you guys have that. But the other thing in there is your guys' food is awesome.
It's about as good as it can get out of a shipping container when you're not trying to be like a 5-star Michelin restaurant. We keep it easy. We just hit all the classics. If you want a hot dog, we'll get you, a good hot dog. Yeah. And sometimes that's what you want. So yeah, we've luckily now in year 3, we've really fine-tuned everything about the yard. So it's other than the music, which I'm working on, by the way. I know people are annoyed.
That's something that I've heard for the past, I wasn't there last week, but like the 3 weeks before. And it's funny because like I heard I talked to you said something about it and I knew what was going on. And I heard like when you weren't there around, we were playing a team and they're like, "What's going on with the music? I can barely hear it." And I tell them everything that you said. Yeah. So I'm like, this is what's going on. Like, it's not normally like this. I promise. Yeah. It's just something.
The very expensive weatherproof Google speaker cable is completely corroded. And it took us like 2 days to run all that cable where it wouldn't look like crap. So
we don't have
2 days. Yeah, we don't have 2 days to do that.
Yeah, you guys put it with the lights, and you were like, yeah, you don't. And I was like, holy crap, I never even noticed it was there. Like, you just run it with the lights, and nobody pays attention.
We had it going up the pole, down in the sand, over to the next pole, up, down. Yeah,
so it's not something that's just easily to replace.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but the food, the loaded fries, you came out with those the one time, and I was walking up to get food. Would have been my first time getting food, so I didn't know what I was going to get. And I saw you walk out those. I was like, "What are those?" And you're like, "The loaded fries." And I was like, "That's what I'm getting." And
loaded fries and a orange beer.
I got the loaded fries, and I went back because it was when Sierra was subbing on Thursday, and I was just there watching. And I got them. Came back, and Sierra's like, "What are those?" And I was like, "Loaded fries." And she started eating them, and she goes, "Those are good." And I was like, "Quit eating them! These are mine. This is my dinner." And then, like the very next week, she's like, "You want some loaded fries?" And I was like, I mean, if you want to go get them, sure.
I'll peel the curtain back a little bit. Seasoned waffle fries from GFS. That's the key.
Sierra, we need to go to GFS. GFS is a very underrated store sometimes.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, the Heath location is just a nightmare, though.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's not something I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that as many times actually. But you guys also have a lot of other stuff going on. You just recently, is it open officially now?
Yes, it is.
Earthworks.
Cafe and Lounge open 7 days a week for now.
Tell me about what Earthworks is.
So I spent 2 years calling it a coffee shop, which I never should have done. Your standard Starbucks is, I don't know, 1,800 square feet. Earthworks is 10,000 square feet. It's full service breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Full service bar. We had a rockin' band playing on our grand opening on Saturday. And if you were there and I gave you poor service, I'm sorry. I tried my best.
Oh, I'm sure it was pretty busy.
Yeah, I was a little overwhelmed. Well, yeah, I was a little overwhelmed. You got to, I mean, working the kinks out, you don't know until you know.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm sure it was kind of similar when you opened a yard.
Exactly.
You go through those things where you think you have enough of this, or you think you have this all figured out, and then you start and you're like, oh, I got to change this. I got to add more of this, less of this.
Yep. Didn't think we were going to sell that many steaks. Can't even tell you how many tickets went to the back of the house. Ribeye, medium rare.
Yeah, but
so we're a steakhouse now. I'm kidding.
No, the food you guys have been posting too. I've been following on social media. I followed the Earthworks account as well, and like the food just looks awesome.
Yeah, our co-founder and director of operations Seth Stout and our kitchen manager Caleb German have been killing it in the kitchen. And the menu, everything. That's obviously a worry when you're opening a restaurant.
Yeah,
but it's fantastic.
Yeah, and also I want to bring it back. I'll go back to all that, but I wanted to bring up too, because you pointed it out when it was being done, but the painting on the outside of the building,
yeah,
that is awesome with the logo. Like that, I mean, it looks like it's been there for forever.
Yeah, I'm actually not even certain how they do it, but they kind of weather the painting so that it looks like the ghosted signs that you see on old brick buildings throughout the country, I guess. Flat black visuals has been awesome to work with, and their delivery of the product has been great. So there's a couple more going up that I'm really excited for, and the red neon Newark Station sign is finally going to go up.
Ooh.
It's been clickbait on our website for 3 years, and it's going up. I cannot wait for it.
Where's that going again?
The like steel connector that used to run between the two buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sitting up on top of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is that steel? Have you walked across it?
Oh yeah.
Is it still like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so we cut it when we demoed the building. We cut it and we put 2 supports on it, and then now there's 3 supports in it for the sign.
That connector went to the building that you guys tore down. Was it literally like just a walkway?
Mm-hmm. Well, so we're actually using the original Ferris, but then Westinghouse office space, and you could see the like assembly line running from the other building through the connector, through the concrete floors, all the way to the warehouse or to the offices. And unfortunately, we had to take a lot of that stuff down, but it was really cool when you could see it.
Yeah, I saw some of that because like we've talked, and I think I mentioned it on the podcast. Help clean that wonderful.
You put that damn kitty litter.
I didn't do that. I was not even there for that. I was there for like 2 weeks, and then I went back to school, and I was very glad, which I got, my winter paycheck, but good Lord, it was, I won't comment too much on it, but it was just an experience to say the least.
Yeah, I'll keep it short, and especially because I do think we talked about it the first time.
Yeah.
The elevator the elevator on that side of the building that goes to the basement doesn't work. And there was a forklift down there, so we cut it up. There was hydraulic fluid everywhere. And instead of cleaning it up, they just spread kitty litter everywhere, including into the sump pump.
Yeah, which, fun fact, guys, if you guys don't know, do not put kitty litter into a sump pump, which, now that I'm thinking about it, right beside my sump pump. Well, my sump pump is over there in the corner, and the cat box is right beside the...
I I think you're good there. Just don't dump it in.
No, but it goes in the trash can. I feel bad for our trash guys because they get dog shit that I scoop out of the yard and cat poop that I scoop out of the litter box and throw in the trash can. But you know what? I guarantee I'm not the worst one around here. So at least I scoop my yard. Oh, me and Simon,
I promise you're not the worst.
we were sitting in the kitchen or in the dining room eating dinner. This lady walks by walking her dog. The dog stops, poops in our yard. Whatever. You know what? My dog's pooping other dogs' yard, people's yards, so it is what it is. Doesn't pick it up, just walks away. See her, yells out the window, "Are you gonna pick that up?" And I'm like, Stop, I'm not doing this. But like literally, I was like, honestly, I'm like, how do you just walk around, let your dog poop in other people's yards?
I don't know.
I couldn't do it. Like I feel there was one time I was walking the dog at night. I didn't realize I didn't have any bags because we have one of those like little canisters, and I like went to pull and I was like, oh crap, there's nothing there. I walked the dog back, grabbed bag, walked back, and picked up the poop because I'm like, I can't do it. Like I can't just leave poop in someone else's front yard because
that one drives me nuts.
I don't get how people can do that.
I don't either.
But you guys got Earthworks now. You guys got the yard. Which have you seen a big? I mean, I personally feel like I see a big jump in the yard from. I've only been there for 2 years now, but from last year to this year, have you seen a giant how big's the jump been?
I don't have like a number for you to say that, but it's evident. And like I was saying earlier, I am gaining traction, and now in year 3, operationally, we know. You don't know till you know. Mm-hmm. Now we know. And so I think we're delivering better product. More people know about us, and it's kind of just snowballed to where I don't have to spend as much time doing some of the things that I had to do previously.
You don't have to promote
volleyball.
as much.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So that's been nice for the Newark Station team.
Yeah.
The calendar's filling up easier and quicker every year. We had a metaphysical fair last Saturday, so that we hadn't had that before.
That's the thing that I think sometimes people don't realize too. Like, yes, it's a volleyball yard, but you can use it. Like, you guys have a giant pavilion.
Yep, a huge pavilion
with a
massive. We call it a jumbotron.
Yes.
Yeah, big like LED. I try to remember it. I think it's 48 individual LED panels,
which you had fun putting up.
That one was actually, with a little perspective, it was kind of fun.
It gives you get it. It's one of those things that you're like, I don't know how to do this, but I got to figure it out quickly.
Yeah.
And when you do it that way, by the time you're done, you're kind of almost like, man, I did that. That's cool. Like I really did figure it out.
Yeah, me, my dad, Seth, and my uncle. Like I said, I know I said this on the last one too, about an hour before the Ohio State Notre Dame game, but we got it done.
Yeah, you guys. So that's the cool thing too, is like even if we're playing at the yard or whatever, like you got volleyball that night, you'll have like the NBA finals on, MLB, whatever game is up, or like, you know, things that are going on. You've even had, you guys will put video games up there too, won't you?
Yep, I've got a Nintendo Switch. Very soon, once I get it ironed out, we'll start having Mario Kart tournaments on the Jumbotron on Saturdays.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
You guys gonna do 4 at a time?
Yeah. Well, I think.
Depending on how many, probably depending on the amount that shows up. Eventually, it'll probably definitely be 4 at a time.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. That's what also just creates that community, that friendly atmosphere.
Yep.
Like all that kind of stuff. Like you can come to the yard, you can play volleyball, you can get food, you can get drinks, you can play video games, you can play board games, you can play cornhole. I don't know what to call it, volleyball, or beer pong volleyball. I don't know what's the correct term.
I call it yard ball because you can't
call it beer pong.
As an establishment, you can't promote binge drinking,
yes. So
I can't call it beer pong. But it's just big beer pong with trash cans and dodgeballs.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, and you guys even have a tetherball too, don't you?
Yeah, I need to fix that. Thanks for reminding me.
Sorry. Don't go to tomorrow.
Yeah. Might not be tetherball tomorrow, but
Just have like there's so many different things that you can do. That's what I always like. Last year I'd even try and tell my buddies like, dude, just come out and hang out while we're playing. He's like, I don't know what I'd do. And I was like, dude, there's so many
Yeah.
different things that you can do, because you guys even host some cornhole tournaments too, don't you?
yep. Cornhole, we got a big connect. What's up, Sarah? We got a big connect for like you said, everything you just rifled off, there's something for everybody. It's a family friendly establishment. You don't have to worry about your kids, although I wish some people would worry a little bit more. You don't have to worry about your kids. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just come hang out, relax. There's something for you, I promise.
Well, because I mean, it's netted off.
I was joking about the kids.
No,
I shouldn't have
it's
said
netted off very great. Like, and there's literally a man door
Yep.
that you can walk through. I just so happened a couple weeks ago was walking by with my beer, looked over and was like, "There's a volleyball coming at me." By the time I noticed it hit the beer, and I was just like, "Well, I mean, but it's no
something like that happens. By the way, I'll just pour you a new one.
But like,
Community.
exactly. And there, I mean, heck, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it. Like when the ball went over the fence,
Oh
you
yeah.
were busy in the kitchen, and I was like, "Hey, I'll go get the ball."
Yes, thank you again for doing that.
But
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and you're like, "I'll give you a beer," and I'm like, "For what?" Like I'm sitting here, I'm bored. I just want to go do something anyway. So I wasn't bored. That sounds bad, but yeah, I was just like, I'm just sitting here. I'll just go do it real quick. And you were like, when I was going to get another beer, you were like, "Give him a free one." And I was like, "But thanks. I didn't ask for this." But
Yeah, there's a trillion things that can be overlooked. One of them this year was that they had put up a construction fence like 12 feet off the edge of the net, and so my solution was like the day before we opened, I cut the fence and I have 2 bike locks holding it up.
I mean, it works.
Yeah,
It really does. Like, no one can even tell. Like if you're just walking by, like you can't even tell that it's not like it's cut. So that's a pro. But you look at it and too, like it's just one of those things that you have to do something. And how many times does it? I mean, it probably goes
once or twice a night usually.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I don't know, because those. How high are the nets?
That is a good question that I don't remember the answer to.
I mean, they're the ones around the outside are pretty good because they don't go outside of the main net very often. Are the middle nets the same height?
Yeah. No. Oh, you mean in between the courts?
Yeah, in between.
No, they're lower, and we got some hooks to go off the top of the volleyball poles, and we have the others, but we wanted to put one up first to see if it worked, and it actually is working. So tetherball and hooks and music. That's my list.
I've slowly reminded him of things that he needs to do. Sorry.
I've been like so singularly focused on construction that some of these things have slipped my mind.
So now you guys have the yard that's coming together really well. 3 years now. Earthworks just starting. What's next? Because I know there's more.
18 apartments open in September.
September.
Yeah.
You're gonna not be like the next door neighbors and
No, we'll get ours. We were waiting on the glass for the windows. That's why the fence was still up, and that's why we haven't hung the drywall. So even if you're there, it's kind of hard to think that they'll be ready in September, but all the mechanical is there, just waiting for the drywall. And once that goes up,
then it's you have apartments.
yep,
at that point.
exactly. So
You said so 18 apartments? How big are these apartments?
so off the top of my head, 9 1-bedroom, 6 studio, and 3 2-bedroom. The smallest unit is the ADA unit, so it's right by the front entrance, and they range from that one being the smallest, 500 to 1,200 square feet.
Okay,
And they're going for market rate.
it's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the market right now is crazy, but also it's came down. It's got more reasonable. Definitely. At first, for a while, it was like, I remember my boss at one point looked at me and goes, thank God you have Sierra. He's like, I'd feel bad for you trying to find a house right now. Like, you'd struggle being able to afford it, and especially with my college loan payment, that is wonderful. But
How much longer do you have on that?
a while.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Okay. I was just curious.
I went to play football and didn't think about money, which I don't take anything back from going to Ohio Wesleyan or spending the money that I did, because I have memories that are going to last me a lifetime. I have friends that are going to last me a lifetime. I have a degree. I learned a lot. Wouldn't even have this podcast if it wasn't for going to Ohio Wesleyan, probably. Definitely. So a lot of things came good out of it. The only bad thing that I can honestly think that came good out of Ohio Wesleyan is now I have to pay it back. But
Yeah.
I did that to myself. It's not like anybody who's like, yeah, you got to do this. So I don't, college isn't a bad thing. I go back and forth on college, where like not everybody is meant for college, but there are a lot of people that are meant for college. And I never thought I'd get through college, but sports definitely kept me grounded and gave me a reason to keep going through it and get it done. But it is what it is. So you got 18 apartments. I know there's other stuff that's going to happen too.
Yes. So
I know you maybe some of it you can say, maybe some of it you don't
no,
wanna,
I can say, like,
at least the goals, hopefully, potentially.
yeah. So once we get Earthworks and the apartments up and running and stabilized, so to speak, we'll get to work on phase 3, which will be studio space, like artisan studios, really kind of anything, office space, an event venue. And because this building was built by the government during World War II, when concrete was cheap, the floor loading is 3 times current code. So we'll be able to come in and lay brick on the concrete on the inside of the
That's
building.
cool.
So the event venue will one day be really, really cool. And the last part of phase 3 will be a rooftop bar. And currently, kind of not. It's still like at the 30,000 foot view, but the land where the building that was demoed sits, we are working on donating that land to some entity within the city or the community. We don't know who will own, like who will claim ownership of it, if it's the city of Newark or if it's, I don't know, the Parks Department. We don't know that yet, but we will donate that land and that will become a community park. And we were struggling for a while to kind of identify what use, like what specific use of it could really, really add a lot of value. And I think we finally found it. So I'm really excited about that. And then, so initially it was a 4-phase construction. Now with that, it's kind of a just never ending one. So we're working on that, and one day it'll be really, really cool. And to have that as you're coming down Main Street, just the green space and what we hope it will one day be, like it would just be transformative. And then the gray block building that you couldn't see from Main Street before the building was demoed, you could only see from Jefferson, but now it's much more visible. That'll be the final part of construction, and that'll be a full-service Italian restaurant.
Damn, all kinds of stuff going on in the years to come. That's not just that's not something that you can just do in 2 months. Like it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I mean, the yard took a lot of time. Earthworks took a lot of time. The apartments take, like, everything takes time. Anybody that understands the construction business knows, like, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a very long process, which can be stressful, I'm sure, for, the operator. I don't know what.
Oh, yeah. So we will own and operate every entity that I just rifled off. So the rooftop bar will be the Lookout tap room. The full-service Italian restaurant will, and these are what we have currently. I guess technically they are subject to change, but the Italian restaurant will be the Glass House restaurant, and we hope to, we're calling it that because we hope to use some of the window frames that we saved to create a glass house in some capacity for the Italian restaurant. The apartments are the lofts at Newark Station, and then the office space, event venue, and studio space will be the lots at Newark Station. So we will own and operate every entity within the property.
So, and the other thing too is, like, you guys are GCing everything too.
Yes.
That's why you've also been crazy busy, because you, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you run and operate the yard, like the volleyball side of things.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole team effort.
Yeah.
Like, so here's an example I'll use. On Saturday at our grand opening, what we refer to as our leadership team is me, my father, Todd, Seth Stout, Emily Evans, and my aunt, Sean. On Saturday at our grand opening, Seth was in the kitchen cooking for you. Emily and I were serving pretty much every single table. My dad and my aunt were running plates, running water. Like on the Saturday before for the house event for the Ronald McDonald House, my mom was running the merch table. Like, so everybody does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's also been a slow process. You didn't have that team at the very beginning. That's what thing too, which I'm sure you can speak on. I kind of want you to speak on it. How important is it to have a great team around you for that kind of, like, building a very big area?
It means the world, truthfully. Like, it's kind of funny now that our staff, the number of staff we have is growing now, obviously with Earthworks opening. And it's kind of funny, you'll be running around doing whatever, and you'll hear one of your bartenders or your cooks or somebody go, "Man, I've never seen an owner doing whatever the hell my dad is doing that he shouldn't be doing." And I hope he hears me say that. But so it's just kind of, it really means the world. And it's just kind of funny because you don't even really realize it while you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But to get the opposite perspective has been kind of a blessing to our hearts, is how I'll put it.
No, honestly, having the owner in the field with you, essentially, because we're only a 3-man company. Our boss is there.
You get it. Yeah,
it makes you it makes you want to work, because you're like, you don't have just this guy that's just sitting back in a chair or driving his King Ranch or whatever fancy car, just taking all the money and just doing whatever. Like, yeah, he's running things, but he doesn't. But when you have the owner in the field, which this is a double-edged sword, because you can't be in the field doing everything for forever. That's not. If you want to expand and grow, you eventually have to move into more of I want to call it a leadership role, but like a top level employee, essentially, and kind of let some things go. But when you have those employees that see the owner, your boss doing things, you're like, man, like, this makes me appreciate my job a little more. This makes me want to do more. And that's a very good thing to have.
Yeah. You just hit the nail right on the head. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I tend to do that a lot. No, but that's one of the awesome things about being small, especially at the beginning, and that can help build, I feel like, that core group of people that, yeah, you eventually come to a point where you have some people that are in and out, that don't do everything. Like, they're here for a little bit, then they go find a new job, whatever. And that's normal. You're going to have that in every type of industry, every type of company. But at the beginning, you have those people that will stick with you for 10, 20, 30 years, because they were working in the guts with the owner, with the guys that are running, with the people that are running it. And it just makes you, I just feel like it makes you appreciate your job so much more. What's up, everybody? I hope you're enjoying today's guest. A lot of people ask me how they can support the Roughnecks podcast. So I wanted to take a quick break to tell you the best way to support the podcast is to buy and wear merch. We have merch available on our website, from hats, t-shirts, long sleeves, sweatshirts, and even coffee cups. There are even youth sizes available for the kids. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and make your purchase today. Thank you for all the support, but let's get back to today's guest. I know, it's so easy too, because I always catch myself like playing with them. Yeah, because like you can move them so many different directions.
I was doing that the first time. I've been actively trying not to.
It's weird because we talked about it a little bit when you first came down, but the basement's changed a lot since the last time.
Oh, hell yeah!
I'm pretty sure the last time there was no curtains up here.
No, because remember I had my cat here.
Yeah, your cat was hiding up in there, and then there was no drywall up, no dartboard wall. was the fireplace even here?
It was like brand new, if I remember
Okay.
right. Did you get it
'cause
for Christmas?
We got it for Christmas,
Yeah.
yes. And then
I was here
TV,
shortly
so,
after.
This basement, when I originally first started recording down here, there used to be a futon here, a futon there, and a tiny little stand here with a tiny little TV. And then it's slow. Like me and Sierra always had the goal of like making it more of a actual space, because like that's what I always told her too. Because we don't have a spare bed, so I'm like, if anybody is here hanging out, needs to stay, or just people come over, if I have my nieces and nephews over, whatever, like we don't have anywhere for them to sleep other than our couch, and I kind of feel bad about this. Feel bad about that. So I was like, why don't we try and like make something? Cousin was getting rid of the futon. We just had to buy a new mattress. I was like, deal. The other futon we had, it was all right. It wasn't a bad futon. We got it for free, so like I wasn't gonna turn it down.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then I took that futon. I said something to my boss. I was like, hey, I got a futon. You want me to bring it to shop? He's like, why not? Honestly. Yeah. So we put it in our conference room, and we also have a dartboard in there that we play way too many games. Well, not anymore, but over the winter when we're off, like we'd literally sit there all day and play darts.
So how does, I'm gonna flip it, and this podcast is now about you.
I like it.
The spin zone.
I like when people do this. I really do, because like I'm usually the one that has to ask all the questions.
I hate talking about myself this much. What is your setup for the winter work wise?
So work wise, it's usually pretty slow. So we used to be hourly. Now I am salary. So it's a little bit different. I'll still come in the winter, but it's not. He used to just kind of find stuff for us to do to try and give us some money through the winter. Now it's like he'll probably tell us like we don't need to do anything. There's 6 inches of snow on the ground. There's no point in you guys going in. But what it used to look like is we'd do maintenance on all of our equipment, do maintenance on the trucks, oil changes, fuel fill, all the filters and all that kind of stuff. But that only lasts so long. Trailers, painting them or fixing rust and all that kind of stuff. And then inventory, a lot of inventory, because we have shelves. I mean, the wall, like as long as our basement is, the wall's twice as long with shelves down that just has pool pumps and filters and lights and all kinds of stuff that I'm kind of in charge of. Not directly, but I'm the one that's like, hey, we're almost out of this. We need to get this. So like I kind of run that side of things. So like we just kind of go through it. Maybe we make a run to our supplier and just get what we need to get. It's very laid back in the winters. Well, I mean, last winter we remodeled my boss's office because it just needed a little bit of an update. It had some old paneling that was kind of gross.
Yeah.
And so we remodeled that, which I had just done this drywall, mudded for the first time ever. And we were mudding, and I was like, he's like, you know how to do it? And I was like, I've done it once.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, just start doing it. I started doing it. He started doing it. And then he looked at mine, looked at his, and he's like, you're better. And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's not. He's like, no, you're doing the whole room. And I'm like, but I also like was the one cutting all the drywall, doing all that stuff. And they're like, you know how to do it. I'm like, I'm not a drywall guy. I just did it literally a week ago. So that's the only reason I understand what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a potentially dumb question, but I want to ask it because I don't really truthfully know everything that it is that you do. All right. I want to put a pool in my backyard. Do I search your company out, or are you contracted through somebody else?
No, our company, so like we don't GC anything. Like we do everything in house other than if you want concrete around your pool, we don't do concrete. We might not do pavers anymore because we used to be pools and pavers. Now
you've sent me videos of that, which is cool that you know how to do it, like your patio.
So that's how he started. His whole company started. He was a mowing company, then started getting into patios, and then went to basically just doing patios, retaining walls, any hardscape side of things.
Yeah.
And then, so that's when I started for him, was when he was at the tail end of that. And like probably 6 months to a year after, he was like, I think we're going to start doing pools. And I was like, what? And he's like, fiberglass. And I'm like, I don't know the first thing to do with a pool. Now we're probably 3 years into that, and people are, I'm not trying to boast our company or anything, but people are amazed. They're like, you guys, we can put if you want a basic pool, no auto cover that goes over your pool, you just want, just the simplest pool, we can put it in and be done in less than a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much of the equipment do you guys own? Do you own the excavators? Do you own?
So that's the thing about our company that's different, I think, from a lot. So like I went with my boss to a conference that it was in Pennsylvania, and it was with a lot of companies that were, all around the country. And so it was like competitors with anybody. It was just kind of a very friendly conversation of like, hey, this is how we do things. This is how we do things.
Yeah.
And we went there, but we are we have 3 guys, but we have more machines, like equipment, than we have guys. So we have 2 skid steers, a concrete buggy, a 55 excavator, a 140 excavator, which is our very big one that digs the holes for the pools and lifts the pools and does all that. And we also have a really cool thing called have you ever heard of an Incon?
I don't believe I have.
So you probably have, maybe on Instagram or something, but there's the normal, excavators, when they're digging, like they just have to dig straight. Our bucket can turn 360 degrees and tilt. It's a very expensive attachment.
Yeah.
We got a used one for a very good deal, so that's why we got it on our big one. But that thing is amazing. Like, we're very equipment heavy, but now that we have that Incon, like when we have to pour a concrete collar around all of our pools, and when we do it now, a lot of times we just fill the bucket on the excavator. He takes the bucket and turns it straight where our forms are, and we literally just take our shovel and pull it out.
Yeah.
Instead of having a wheelbarrow or a skid loader, and you have to shovel it out of the skid loader into that, like we literally just pull it out.
That's wild.
And that's, I think, why we're able to operate with 3 people, is having that machinery.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure we own, the big excavator's on a lease, but we have to either buy it out or sell it back at the end of the year. But everything, like we're paying payments on some of the stuff we own outright. It's all just, that's how we operate. Some people don't like our prices, but it is what it is.
This one is potentially a dumb question. Where do you buy a pool?
No, that's honestly not a dumb question, because I would have asked these.
How long does it take to get here?
So I don't know that answer.
Okay.
Exactly, because that also changes. Like if you order a pool in the winter, it's like a 2-week lead time. So like you can get it real quick. You order a pool in the dead heat of summer, you probably got 14 to 16 weeks.
Yeah.
And actually throughout COVID, we went through a spell where we couldn't get a pool for 2 months. We were not laid off, but we didn't have any work because of the fact that they couldn't get certain materials throughout COVID.
Yeah.
So like for 2 months, we didn't have any work.
So now that I'm thinking about it, is there like one company that has a monopoly on pool manufacturing?
No.
Okay.
There's one that is way better than the rest, in my opinion.
Who is that?
They're called Thursday Pools.
Thursday Pools.
Which I remember asking.
Friday beers.
Well, I was like, why the hell do they call themselves Thursday? Their whole slogan is "Your weekend starts early with us." And I was like, holy crap, that's a genius idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So they're like, with Thursday, how it works is too, there's like, if you become a dealer, there's territories. So like you have a territory, like we have Licking County, part of Delaware, like there's a big territory that we have. But if somebody else in our area wants to become a Thursday dealer, they can't, because of the fact that we have the territory.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about that.
I worked at a steakhouse in college where they sourced the meats from Chicago, and they were the only restaurant in South Carolina
that had that. Yeah. that's a really cool thing because you can also put that like we're the only ones that can.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
we have people all the time that are like, we want a Thursday pool, and they're like, we can't do it, and it's like we're the only ones that can do it. That the cat just popped through the curtain out of nowhere. But
extremely soft.
yeah, we're dealers for 3 different manufacturers. Thursday, which is based out of Indiana. Imagine, I forget where they're based out of, and Latham are which I've never heard of any of those until I started into this business.
Yeah, I can't say I've had many thoughts of pool brands.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. People like, and we do fiberglass, which are like one giant shell.
Right, because you showed me that video of the crane in the neighborhood. Yeah, that's what got me thinking about it originally.
Ours are one giant shell. A lot of people, what you see mostly, which fiberglass is slowly really making its way into the industry of pool business, but everybody sees a liner pool or just a simple above ground.
Yeah.
Where the liners, you just have to drop a new liner every few years. And we do the fiberglass, which the fiberglass, it's one giant shell, but there's like Thursday, that's what also makes Thursday so good. They have a 30-year warranty on their shells.
Oh, wow.
So like any scratches above, like anything that comes up, they'll come out and fix it.
Yeah.
As long as it's not something that we did or the customer did. If it's just something that randomly shows up, which is very rare, they'll come out and fix it for free.
Yeah. Interesting.
They'll drive from Indiana out and fix it for free. And it's like, but they rely so much on their quality.
Yeah, which is why they're willing to.
Have you ever
Drive
smelled
from
fiberglass?
Yes, I have.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
I hate cut-in days where we have to drill holes in the pool and put in the like returns and the skimmer and all that kind of stuff. But with the smell of fiberglass and everything, Thursday is the only fiberglass pool manufacturer in the country that is EPA certified.
Really?
They have, like, when you walk into
This is so fascinating to me, by the way.
I went into their facility this past winter when I went to their conference, and you cannot hardly at all smell fiberglass. And they are manufacturing pools out of that facility.
Yeah.
They have their floor is so clean, like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but you could probably eat off of it and be fine.
Interesting.
If you go to our job site, we usually tell the customers, hey, we're about to start drilling holes, go inside because there's going to be dust flying. I'm itching for 3 or 4 days. The worst is when we have to drill in on a day that I have to play volleyball where I don't get to necessarily go home and shower.
Yep.
So then I'm sweating even more. And like fiberglass is such small little specks. When I sweat, it just goes down in your pores. For 3 days, I'm usually like, I can just feel it in my arms.
Yeah, the first 9 weeks of 2023, I was grinding and sealing the concrete floors for the apartments.
Oof.
I know a thing or two about dust.
Yeah.
Now that I didn't 5 months ago.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. I could talk about that kind of shit, but that's the thing is like 2 years, like a year ago, you'd have asked me that, and I'd have to give you a very short explanation because I knew honestly nothing. Now I've grown into a role of where I drive the main truck that has all the equipment on it, has everything on it, so I understand how everything works.
That was going to be my other question: is how much of the machinery do you operate?
So I actually don't. I'm not a big operator.
Yeah,
I'm not the big operator.
Nor am
on
I.
the crew. I can skid steers. I can run. They tell me I run them like I'm scared. I get nervous going around a shell of a pool, dumping gravel when I'm like 6 inches from it. I'm like, I really don't want to hit the shell or something. Like, so I get a little. But my boss is like the big operator, and then the other guy, he's the other operator and drives the dump truck, and I drive a service truck that just has all the tools that we need for everything.
Yeah.
I can run every one of our pieces of equipment. How well is debatable.
Fair enough.
So we got the yard, we got Earthworks, we got all these things coming up. When can we? So you said September for the apartments?
Mm-hmm.
September for the apartments. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout too, because July 15th,
yeah,
we have a tournament there.
What a segue! Do you do this often?
Every so often, every couple weeks or so, maybe like a couple times a week. But got a tournament coming up at Newark Station. It's going to be an awesome time. We do have a live band as well. Low Gap playing at Newark Station during the tournament. They will be there for 3 hours, I believe. I think I can't remember the exact time I told them. I think it was like 3:15, so I could give myself a little time at the beginning to get
that
announcements in, and then just go from there.
Yeah, I should have ran through all this before I walked in your front door, but that sounds right.
Yeah, we'll talk after. But a lot of cool things coming with Newark Station, including the Roughnecks tournament. But there's so be on the lookout for all the new things that are coming. Definitely go to Earthworks. I've been seeing a lot of positive things about it. Everything I've seen has been positive. I haven't seen anything negative, so I'm definitely gonna go check that out here soon. I just got back from vacation, so I was pissed because you were like, "Yeah, we're doing a soft opening on this day," and I'm like, wow, that's when I'm on vacation. Thanks.
Yeah,
But that happened actually a few times. There was a couple things while I was on vacation. I'm like, God damn it.
Well, weirdly, just as an aside, like a handful of people that run around with us at the yard were all in Myrtle Beach or Outer Banks that weekend. It was weird.
I don't know. So we've been going that same week for like we go every 2 years, like the past 3 times. It's like the same week because like when we're on our way home, I got notifications of memories on Facebook.
Right.
So we've been going the same time, and it's I know a lot of other people that go that time, and then there's like the time July 4th or just after July 4th. Like I feel like those are the really popular times for some random reason, which I don't know why you want. When you go to the beach in June, I'll be honest, the water is so freaking cold.
Yep.
I got in, like, it was every time Sierra, like, she'd be walking behind me, because I go out boogie board and just have fun.
Yeah.
And she'd come out a couple times, and she'd be like, oh my God, it's so cold. What do I do? I was like, just keep walking. You just learn to just keep walking through it, let it hit you, and just keep going. Once you're in it, it's fine. But, like, when that initial, it's like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
I can't breathe.
And don't get into a submarine to explore the Titanic. Did you see this?
No.
All right, never mind.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, they don't know where it is now, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, topical.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be the person, though, that would also be like,
why are we still going down to the Titanic?
Why is the Titanic still down there? Just because it's historical?
Well, I don't know how you could get it out.
It'd take a long time, but it could get it. I mean, let's be real. They could get it out. It just take a while and a lot of money. I mean, there's a lot of freaking boats and all kinds of stuff down in the ocean that people do not realize. But, yep. So, where can people find and... Oh, wait. Hold on. Sorry. Before I go too far into that, I forgot. We got the best segment of the podcast. I got to throw it on you. It's time for Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday is the point in the episode where I allow a guest to give the Roughnecks listeners a little inspirational bump to set the tone for their week as they listen on Monday morning. So what do you got from Motivation Monday?
So I forgot about this until you texted me, so thank you for that.
That's why
I actually got a good one. Today, my grandfather, Joseph O'Daniel, turned 92 years old. So you better make it to 93.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that.
Well, actually,
a lot of
that
people...
was unintentionally kind of morbid, but
yeah, but like, yeah. But like, that's the thing is like, I think a lot of people sometimes think like, oh yeah, I'm only gonna live till I'm this old, and I don't want to live past that. But like, you can, and if you do, imagine the stories and like this the wisdom that you have and the life that you honestly get to live.
He turned 21 in Korea.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
June 20th, 1931. In Springfield, Kentucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
21
cool.
years later, he was in Korea fighting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I
maybe.
Yeah, depending. But That's awesome. But yeah, honestly, I like that a lot, just because of the fact that I think a lot of people forget how long of a life that you can live, and it's not as common. It's sad to say, but it is not as common anymore for people to live that long.
Yeah, 92 years is a really long time.
My grandparents on my dad's side both lived in their 90s. So I think one was 98 and one was like 96. And it's just crazy to think.
Is your dad the youngest of many?
I was an accident in the family.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
Yep. My oldest sister was 16 years older than me.
Yeah, you've told me that actually. Yeah.
It was that's why when I tell people that, sometimes they look at me and I'm like, yep, let me go back and rephrase this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and talking to those people too is one of the coolest things.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I didn't realize it sometimes at the time when I was younger, but the tips and the little pieces of advice that you can learn from them can help you excel and just move past certain things faster than others.
They know.
They do.
Yeah.
If they've been around this year for 90 plus years, or around this world for 90 plus years, they know a thing or two.
Yep.
But where can people find and follow all of the Newark Station stuff?
So, if you want the full water hose, Newark Station on Facebook and Instagram. If you want Earthworks specific stuff, earthworks.cafe.lounge on Instagram. If you want coffee, because I should have said this earlier, we are roasting and grinding.
Mm-hmm.
We're roasting our own coffee beans in-house, which is really cool and smells really fucking good.
Yep, real good.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a problem, actually. If you want coffee specific stuff, it's let me double check this, but earthworks.coffee, and then our website is newark-station.com.
I will have the links to all that in the episode description. Be sure to go give them a follow. If you're in the area, go check out Earthworks. I promise you, you will not regret it, because everything I've heard is positive. I do not have a first-hand experience, but probably by the time this episode comes out,
I'll show you tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough. But so I will definitely have a first-hand experience. It's definitely worth it. Go check out Earthworks. If you're, just in the area and on a Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday and want to come hang out and drink some beers and watch people try to play volleyball sometimes. Not on Thursdays, because those people know how to play volleyball. But Mondays and Wednesdays, sometimes you might have some people that are trying to figure it out. Usually they're better by now. But
yeah,
go to the yard. Just enjoy yourself. There's plenty of things for you to do while you were there, like we talked about. Go follow them. Go check them out. Don't forget to sign up for the Roughnecks Volleyball Tournament coming up in a couple weeks. Next week, you guys will hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, but hopefully be able to hear from the band that is going to be playing there as well. So they are coming on the podcast. So next week, you guys will get to hear from them. And then the week after, or the weekend after, the week after is the tournament. So come out, sign up for the Roughnecks Volleyball Tournament on roughneckspodcast.com. And until next time, you guys know the deal. Life is hard, and it's going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. Don't let that bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Roughnecks out.